Or if you wanted to tie it back to Swole Coast, they're a big, beefy monk, and then their astral projection is even bigger.
Yes.
Like, the issue with the human world is that I've got limitations on how big my biceps can get. Luckily, on the astral plane, just jacked.
Oh, welcome to Monsters Multiclass. I'm Kevin Odie.
I'm Jared Bornagle.
And I'm Will Meldon.
And on this episode, we are taking a look at the Way of the Astral Self, a new monk subclass added in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. So let's just jump into it. So the Way of the Astral Self doesn't actually have a lot of flavor, like written and baked in. Basically, they think their body is the illusion and their true form is an astral self. I guess that's supposed to kind of be implying a version of themselves from the astral plane, and they're able to harness their ki and pull in this astral self to help them in the form of arms and that punch things with force damage. It's kind of neat and a little weird.
And armor. Arms and armor.
Yes. Well, yeah, we'll get to it, but yeah. Arms, armor. There's a face. It's a whole thing. Really not much more to the flavor, dude. I feel like I'm like not doing it justice, but it's really all that's written.
No, one of the things that I do like about it, though, is that it specifies that these are monks who are obsessed with the self. And I think that's something that I try to bring home with monks from their flavor, is they're not always just wandering from town to town healing the sick. Sometimes they're just really self-obsessed and with that idea of self-perfection. And I think that this Way of the Astral Self is one that you could play that up, and you could be a more, I won't say evil, but selfish monk. And that much I like. I think it goes outside of it allows you to go outside of the standard conventions.
Right. In terms of flavor, the form of the astral self, there's a lot of room and cool stuff you could do there. So like, for instance, it's saying the astral self is the true self, where the body is just kind of is what it is. And so you might have like an orc monk who's, big, strong brute, and the astral self is a delicate visage representing the gentle beauty of the orc soul. Things like that. So you could kind of, just a lot of options to sort of play around with there.
Or if you wanted to tie it back to Swole Coast, they're a big, beefy monk, and then their astral projection is even bigger.
Yes.
Like, the issue with the human world is that I've got limitations on how big my biceps can get. Luckily, on the astral plane, just jacked.
All right, so their main feature that comes in line at third level is Arms of the Astral Self. It's mastery of your ki allows you to summon a portion of your astral self. So as a bonus action, spend a ki point and summon the arms of your astral self. They can either like jut out from your shoulders or kind of sleeve over your arms to change their appearance. When you summon these, each creature of your choice that you can see within 10 feet must succeed on a dex saving throw or take force damage equal to 2 rolls of your martial arts die. And then for 10 minutes, the spectral arms are on you and appear how you want them to appear. When they're present, you get the following benefits. You can use your wisdom modifier in place of strength when making strength checks or strength saving throws. You can use the spectral arms to make unarmed strikes. When you make an unarmed strike with the arms on your turn, your reach is 5 feet greater. And the unarmed strikes you make with your arms can use the wisdom modifier in place of strength or dex for the attack and damage rolls, and their damage type is force. So kind of a lot there.
Yeah, let's start with that first paragraph of
when
you bring these things out as a bonus action, spend a ki, you make all creatures around you make a dex saving throw, or they take 2 martial arts die worth of damage. It's kind of neat, but also really sucks. You want to know why? Because you're going to do this first turn, you're not near your enemies, or you have to wait and hold your bonus action until you're in the perfect spot to like set yourself up for the combat. And if you're near your friends, it just hurts them.
No, you could choose.
You cannot.
Each creature of your choice that you can see within 10 feet.
Shoot, I read that 3 times and I still messed it up. Dang it. Okay, so
of all the classes to need that kind of positioning, monks are the best equipped for it.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, you are correct. Since the last 10 minutes, and it's not like concentration or anything, and this will most likely happen once per encounter, but they could dash in run in. Dash is a poor choice of words because that's quite literally.
This is why Jeremy Crawford spends hours on Twitter.
Dash.
Yeah.
Right. Run in up in the enemy's face as a bonus action, activate this, and then still be able to attack and all that. Yeah, I mean, it is somewhat situational, but it's not the main thing of it. It's just kind of a nice little bonus.
Sure.
And I think it's got like cool flavor. I could see sort of this like flurry, this sort of like flourish. You activate it, and these astral arms just kind of fling out all around and hit everything around it before they like settle on you. Just kind of this cool flourish, sort of very video game style of activating an ability.
Yeah, or just like a concussive blast of just energy.
Like summoning them in. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of ways to do that.
I feel like it could have gotten better as it levels up, because it doesn't get touched from there beyond the martial arts die increasing. Mm-hmm. But now that we're like talking about it like that, I can just imagine, you know, it starting to push things or, you know, like knock them prone, things like that could make it even cooler. And I guess I also wish this was just a thing you could do and spend a key point and like do this AoE attack. It sounds like once they're out, that's it. You don't get to do this again. And there's no way, rules is written, to make them go away. They vanish early if you are incapacitated or die. You can't choose, again, rules is written.
You can simply choose to be not alive.
You could choose to not be alive. But you can't choose to drop the arms as it's written, again.
No, but it doesn't explicitly say that you can't, even when the arms are out, you can't re-summon them, spend the key point, and be able to do this again and reset the 10-minute timer, right? I think it doesn't explicitly say that anywhere. I could see just this being a permanent thing. You could spend a key point, get your little AoE. Yeah. I don't know if that's worth the... It depends. I guess if you're truly, truly surrounded, it's worth it because, you know, you got to compare it to like doing like a flurry of blows.
Sure. Yeah.
And if you're surrounded by 6 things, that's actually really, really solid.
Right. Very much so.
Yeah.
That starts to rival Way of the Drunken Master in terms of just attacks you can get out. And we're talking about 3rd level, not 17.
Or a 1st level cantrip, but yeah.
Or 1st level cantrip. It doesn't do as much.
Thunderclap, yeah.
Sure. I don't think those do as much damage.
I think there's like a D6 and then a 5th that goes up to like 2D6. And
sure.
This starts as a 2D4.
Yeah.
And then 2D6, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't scale that well.
Thunderclap's quite literally D6, but yeah, it's just kind of on par to a cantrip. But you're not a caster. Like, you know, for like a caster to use Thunderclap, your squishy D6 caster, probably no armor or light armor, up in the middle of things. You're a monk. And it's a bonus action, and then you can still attack things. So
right
with the D8 and no armor.
Well, your AC is probably higher.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this
especially because the monk's unarmored is 10 plus Dex plus Wisdom.
Correct.
And this gives you a really good reason to just focus on Wisdom.
Always had a good reason for it. This doesn't change.
But even more so, like Wisdom can be your main stat now.
I have thoughts around that, and we will get to them in a second.
All right.
I guess the next part is all of the benefits you gain. So yeah, this is the perfect time to talk about it. So you can use your Wisdom modifier in place of your Strength modifier when making strength checks and saving throws. That's great. That's really good. Makes you more single attribute dependent. So no complaints there.
Good for like grappling and stuff that would come in.
Sure. Yeah. Will, you made a face. Was there...
I just like, I knew Kevin was going to say grappling because that's when it comes up, and it's true.
Yeah.
The strength monk was always a big stretch and didn't work that well, and now you just don't have to do it.
Right.
So
then you can use the spectral arms to make unarmed strikes. That by itself doesn't really mean anything because it never really mattered. I guess you can hold stuff now and make the attacks with your spectral arms, but that doesn't really come up.
What would you hold, Jared?
I don't... A weapon that does more damage.
Beers? Just 2 beers?
Yes.
You could already do a 2-handed weapon in unarmed strikes because it's saying you could punch and kick and
or just let go of the weapon while you punch.
Right.
It's not a big deal.
Chest slam.
Sure. Yeah, it doesn't do that much, but yes, now you can hold some beers, which I think is pretty flavorful. Because now imagine a fight in a tavern and you're just like casually going as your unarmed spectral arms are just like whipping around, punching everybody, and you're just like whistling along, taking sips of beers.
Or you could just do the cool arm cross thing.
Oh, that's good
and
too.
beat people's asses while you look cool.
Yeah. Your unarmed strikes have a reach of 5 greater than normal. Nice little
That's
benefit.
awesome. I think, yeah, any sort of increased reach is always good. That comes up. And then that opens up a lot of game play styles for this monk where they could be 10 feet out, punch them, and then move away without getting an opportunity attack.
Right. So that's great. No issues there. Then we get to the last thing of your unarmed strikes you make with your arms. So I'm assuming that means the spectral arms, not your normal arms.
Right.
Can use your wisdom modifier in place of your strength or dexterity modifier for the attack and damage rolls, and their damage type is force. So I feel like this is a little bit awkward because realistically speaking, you need dex still. And if you are using weapons, which until, as we just discussed a little bit ago, until level 11, weapons generally outpace your martial die, you still need dex to be better than wisdom. And you can use all of these things with dexterity. So there's really no benefit to going into wisdom over dexterity at all, to be completely honest, because again, until level 11, you're going to slack if you're relying on your martial arts die. So this allows you to only focus on wisdom and kind of swap the skills, because usually it's up dex, up dex, up dex, and then wisdom once you've hit 20 in dexterity. I just don't really see that flipping as well when your weapons can't also use wisdom.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Because then if you focus on wisdom, like your DC for any key saves goes up.
Sure,
which
that's good.
Is nice.
Yeah,
but it's actually has no impact on your AC. I was wrong. I wasn't thinking about that right, because it's Dex plus Wisdom.
Yes.
So either your Dex goes up or your Wisdom goes up. It's still the same impact on your AC. So it's not like that's going to be better.
Right. So,
and then getting Dex up increases. Well, the Wisdom saves are also really common. It's just I don't know. They're kind of just trade-offs.
Yeah.
And if I were to play this, I would probably, even just for the sake of flavor, go all in on the arms. And it's like that's all I attack with. I do not carry weapons. I just attack with my astral arms, and it's just focus on wisdom.
Yep.
But it was still like good. You still have like 16 dex. It's not like
it's
and
not.
And then start
horrible.
getting that up once wisdom gets to 20. But yeah,
sure. Yeah, and it's not that it's atrocious just to focus on dexterity, but you basically have to go against the flavor of the class in order to optimize the class, and that feels a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Because from a purely mechanic standpoint, it's still better to focus on dex than to focus on wisdom for this class. And that's it just feels wrong. I don't like it.
Right.
And it could be
It
fixed.
does kind of self-balance, though.
How
because
so?
this is, the reach is a non-trivial thing.
But you could still use dex with that.
That's what I'm saying.
You can use your wisdom, not you must use your wisdom. So you could still use dex for that 10-foot arm attack.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so it's like you're not actually getting a benefit out of it. It's more of like, hey, this playstyle is an option, and it's not as bad as it normally would be. Because if you were just a monk and you focused wisdom first, you're going to really, really fall behind. For this, it's just like, it falls behind less, and that's it.
Right. Because, since you do all, like, your main attack with the arms being a D4 instead of like a D6 or D8 of a monk weapon.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So one way that this could be better, homebrew fix at your table, is just allow the weapons to also use wisdom instead of dexterity. It's definitely better because of what you just said, Kevin, of your wisdom saves are important, but so are dexterity saves.
Right.
Your save DC on stunning strike and maybe some of I think that's it, actually, just stunning strike.
I think. Yeah, I know, like, when it goes into key, any saving throw that's involving key is your 8 plus your proficiency plus wisdom.
Sure.
And so, like, stunning strike.
And that's all you get from the main monk class. Everything else is subclass specific and doesn't come into this conversation. So, yeah, I think you could probably hand wave that and not really see it as the end of the world. If you want to, here it is. Here's the perfect way to balance this and lose absolutely nothing. You then just have your stunning strike DC come off of dexterity instead of wisdom. Boom. Just blew this whole thing wide open. Right. Just dumb rambling at this point. Sorry, Will. I feel like I threw...
You're just ruining this class.
Yeah.
Like, oh, let's just not do any of these things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Stand by my point. It's a little convoluted. I get what they're going for there. I don't think it hits the mark.
Yeah. With the 5 foot increased reach, move the cat. Definitely a really cool ability. Flavor wise, I'm pretty sure the intent is it's sort of like these like launch off of you, and so they can interact further. I like to picture more as like, no, they are truly anchored here, and they're just really long ass arms, just like awkwardly long arms.
I mean, yeah, it is. I guess kind of supposed to be bigger. That's how I anticipated it, or I guess I've been thinking about it, where it's just like just really long, big arms because it's like a bigger version of yourself. I guess that's not really described,
doesn't have
though.
to be.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah. Like the pictures, they're identical.
Yeah.
And obviously that's just one take on it. But I think the intent is that they can leave your body. They're not truly confined to the space your body occupies, and so they could sort of float out, teleport out, that sort of thing.
Sure.
But just long, gangly arms. Like not thicker or anything either.
No.
It's like proportionally your arms, just 5 feet longer.
Ugh.
Yeah, and they are like up here when you're not using them, just kind of like bounce as you walk.
I'm getting real Bone Claw vibes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. That's the only 3rd level ability, so it is just the only thing you get, but that's pretty good for a 3rd level ability.
Yeah.
Pretty impactful of how you play. Give it right up front.
It is. That's a good way of putting it. It is play style defining.
Yes. Which is nice when you get that right away. I know we've talked about some classes where it feels like, play style defining stuff comes online in like 6th or 9th, and it just feels really late.
Right.
All right, so then at 6, you get the Is it Visage or Visage?
I think in this...
Visage.
Yeah. It's Visage.
Visage. All right, at 6, you get the Visage. It doesn't sound right. Whatever. Of the Astral Self. I guess we could have looked this up before.
I don't think anyone cares.
Yeah, I care.
It's been a year since somebody corrected our pronunciation, and Kevin still gets night terrors.
So you can summon the Visage of your Astral Self as a bonus action, or as part of the bonus action you take to activate your arms of the Astral Self. You could spend 1 key point to summon the Visage for 10 minutes. It vanishes early, incapacitated, or die. It covers your face like a mask or helmet. You define its appearance.
Butterfly.
And while it's present... Yep. Well, it's present, you gain the following benefits. Astral Sight. You can see normally in darkness, both magical and non-magical, to a distance of 120 feet. Let's talk about these one at a time.
Sure, there's a lot.
Just kind of standalone. Yeah, was 3. But so being able to see through magical darkness is great. But to me, it's specifically when you could also create the magical darkness.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have anyone in your party that you're like lining this up with,
it's not that great.
Like it's not going to come up that much. I mean, 120 foot dark vision is nice, I guess. Oh, it's normally actually.
You can see.
Okay, so it's better than dark vision because
yes.
dark vision it's still considered like
dim light
obscured or whatever, dim light, yeah, and no color. So okay, that's actually pretty solid because that gives you like disadvantage on perception checks and stuff, and this negates it.
Right.
Yeah, and then if you synergize up and get like a warlock who has devil sight or something, like Hexblade Warlock with the devil sight invocation, or there's this shadow sorcerer, or I think another monk class could do this too.
The shadow monk, yeah.
Shadow monk, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely
that could be cool.
With you though, just I take issue with a class that benefits from needing another player character to like fully realize its true potential.
Right.
Otherwise, you're waiting for the DM to cast darkness and do your like, ha 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 ha, I was expecting this moment.
Right.
But it's okay.
Yeah. But since it's only 1 of 3 things you get, and the 120 feet super dark vision is still good.
Yeah, but it costs a key point to do it and another bonus action. Well, you can tie the bonus actions together.
Right.
But
That is fair, yeah.
This isn't, it's not that it can never be used out of combat, but it's not that great out of combat. It's not like the entire dungeon you can see through dim light. It's like, ooh, right now we need to see through darkness.
10 minutes.
And you can use it.
Yeah, I was kind of talking about that thing and like it's a permanent feature, but it's not. It's a 10-minute thing, costs a key point. All right, well, let's keep going. Then you also get Wisdom of Spirit. You have advantage on insight and intimidation checks.
I like that there's out of combat abilities. And that
sure,
I could see using a bonus action when you're about to go. I mean, insight and intimidation, those are two social skills that are going to come up if you know you have advantage on them. And I like the fact that you're going to be the person in the corner. You're the muscle. But it's not just you are the muscle. It's that your spectral astral self is the muscle. So while you're standing there with your arms crossed, it also has its arm crossed right above you. Making you look
directly over your face.
Yes.
And then a butterfly mask.
Of course. So it definitely gives off that air of intimidation, and I like that. I could see this being used. I'd get a lot of use out of it.
Yeah, but again, it suffers the same thing. It costs a key point to bring it up. And like you can do that in the middle of a conversation when you just like understand things are going a little.
I would
for intimidation. It's great because it's like, all right, this isn't going the way you want, and you're about to try and scare the shit out of this person, and you pull out the visage of the astral self over your face, and it's creepy as shit.
Exactly.
But if you're doing it for insight, it's a polite conversation. You're like, I'm not quite sure if to being honest with me. I wonder what I think about that terrible demon face. Just out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's, I think, very, very fitting for intimidation, and I love the idea of it. And if I was a DM, or if I was DMing for one of these subclasses, I would allow them to activate this as part of their attempt at intimidation, like put it as, together, where they, they step forward and they say whatever intimidating thing, and then the butterfly masks appear, and like they get their little butterfly arms, and they're just like, do you want to say that again, punk? Or demon face or whatever. But just like forming that around you as part of your intimidation, as the intimidation itself. That's an intimidating thing. If you're just talking with somebody and they say something and it's like, I respond by summoning my astral self. It's like, oh, they're ready for a fight.
Right.
He brought out old butterfly arms.
All right, and then the final feature you get of this is Word of the Spirit. When you speak, you can direct your words to a creature of your choice within 60 feet, making it so only that creature can hear you. Alternatively, you can amplify your voice so all creatures within 600 feet can hear you. Really, really situational. It's basically one-way telepathy, and there's like 1,000,001 ways now to get that in better versions. So it's
every class gets walkie-talkies.
Yeah,
but it's just a one-way walkie-talkie.
Busted walkie-talkie.
Right.
The one time that this becomes useful, you need to like talk to a crowd. It's kind of cool, but then you just spent a key point on it.
Right.
Why?
It'll come up. You'll find uses for it. You have those like town days where you're not getting into the shit, and you can spend the key point. Because like as a spellcasters do it all the time. They'll kind of blow. I know, like at our table, our spellcasters, including myself, will blow spells when we're in a city and not expecting anything to go down.
Right. Yeah. It's okay. One thing that I do want to comment on this class feature as a whole is that the phrasing is really awkward for the summoning, where it's as a bonus action or as part of the bonus action you take to activate the arms of Astral Self, you can spend 1 key point to summon this Visage for 10 minutes. So is that specifically saying that it takes 2 key points, or that you can spend 1 key points to have both? Like, what's going on there?
I think it's 1 key point each. You could summon just the Visage, or you could summon just the arms, and each one is 1 key point, or you summon both, and that's 2.
Man, this isn't worth a key point.
Well, but that's what Kevin was saying is spot on. It's when you're burning resources outside of combat scenarios, this is actually kind of great. The monk didn't have a lot of ways to do that.
Sure.
They have a lot of ways to burn it when they're beating the tar out of someone.
Right.
But when they're yelling the tar out of someone at a bar, they don't have anything. Now they do.
Right.
I really like class features or like at specific levels when they will specifically give you out of combat and in combat abilities, because they're not hurting each other. You know, if Way of Mercy as an example, where you get proficiency in, I don't even remember, it's been 20 minutes since we talked about it. You get proficiency in insight and medicine and herbalism kits. That's your third level thing. Plus you get a bunch of other stuff at third level that's in combat. They don't affect each other. They're totally separate from each other. So why wouldn't they give a 6th level ability that can really be used in combat just like every other monk that's already been established? It just seems like weird class design to be like, oh, well, monks don't have enough out of combat stuff, so let's dedicate an entire 6th level feature to stuff that's really situational and out of combat.
Yeah, that is a good point. It doesn't quite line up with other 6th level. Yeah, like Kenzai gets the one with the blade where they like death strikes and things like that, and magic Kenzai weapons.
Drunken Master gets the, like, when you're prone,
Tipsy
you can just
sway.
Yeah, you can just pop
and
up.
redirect attack, key point to
Right.
redirect an attack. Yeah, that's
all this stuff that it's like every combat, I can probably use this. And then we get this where it's
Right.
like you don't get anything for combats besides potentially Astral Sight if the situation allows it.
Mm-hmm.
It rarely would justify its key cost.
Exactly.
In combat, right? Yeah.
So, and I can't sit here and say that the third level ability is like so good that it doesn't need extra power at 6th level too.
Right.
So
yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I mean, the third level ability is good.
yeah,
Like, I'm not saying like the class sucks because of that or
Right,
anything.
right.
But you're right. It is not so good where it could just basically forfeit the 6th level ability as a combat ability. All right. Well, let's see how Let's see how the rest of it shakes out.
sure.
At 11th, you get Body of the Astral Self. So when you have both your arms and Visage summoned, you could cause the body of your Astral Self to appear. No action required, which is nice. So you just 2 key points, basically. And then you could also add once you get to 11th, add this body stuff onto it. This body covers your physical form like a suit of armor. Connecting with the arms and the Visage, you determine its appearance. I assume more just butterflies. While it's present, you gain these 2 benefits. Deflect energy. When you take acid, cold, fire, force, lightning, or thunder damage, use your reaction to deflect it. When deflecting it, the damage is reduced by 1d10 plus your wisdom modifier. I feel like deflect's a poor choice of words, but other than that...
That's what I was thinking too. It's like, are you really deflecting it if it's... I guess reflect would allow you to hit it back to somebody. Deflect,
true.
It's just not going anywhere.
Okay,
It's more like
yeah.
disperse energy.
Right.
But it is going somewhere, and predominantly it's going directly into your body.
Yeah, I say
Because
1d10...
It's only reducing
Yeah, reduction of 1d10 plus your wisdom is not a whole lot. Luckily, there's no resources tied to it.
Yeah.
It's just your reaction.
Which I won't say monks are crazy reaction heavy. They get their missile deflect, and that's about it.
Right.
God damn it.
But yeah, usually these sources of damage are a lot of damage.
Right. A dragon's breath.
Like
A spell.
Yeah, fireball, lightning strike, things like that. Yeah. Lightning bolt, yeah.
I knew what you meant. It's okay.
Yeah. Right.
So, yeah, but that said, one thing that I do like is one of those is force. You get a way to reduce force damage. That's not common.
Oh, yeah.
That's neat.
Sure. And then you also get empowered arms. Once on each of your turns, when you hit a target with the arms of the Astral Self, you can deal an extra damage to the target equal to your martial arts die, which at this level would be a d8. So an extra 1d8 once per turn.
Okay.
When this is up.
And what is the Way of Mercy getting at 11th level? It was getting the extra...
The flurry of healing and harm.
Yeah, where basically they can, if they do flurry of blows, they can do that hand of harm without spending a key point. So this one takes no additional.
Yeah.
Yes, once per turn.
Right.
And this is only once per turn, right?
Yeah.
So it's like kind of comparable damage, but I'm not also adding the poisoned condition. Doesn't take a resource. It's a little weaker. It's just, I'm just not impressed.
The interesting thing is, like, what I said, like, 3 minutes ago that I don't see the visage of Astral Self coming back in combat totally negated because now it's
you
mandatory.
have to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good enough where I could say at the start of every combat, pop in 2 key points and activating the body of the Astral Self.
Sure.
And it is good enough to have that up. An extra 1d8 per hit without any resources tied to it is nice. The only thing I would like to see maybe like an AC boost.
Not until 17th level.
I say
and for an extra 3 key points.
Right.
Yes, I agree. I think that there should have been a little bit more, or maybe that 17th level Armor of Spirit, where it gives you that +2 bonus to armor class, should be pleasantly placed in the 6th level ability. I don't know. I don't have anything else to add for the body of Astral Self. This ability at 11th level, it's okay. It's not the worst one.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think how would at 11th level an extra 1d8 per turn.
It keeps you on par
if I'm in love with that.
with like a
it's okay.
fighter,
Yeah.
but you don't get to add your wisdom modifier,
Right.
like you do with the Hand of Harm.
Right.
And I know that costs a key point, but like, man, I'm already spending the key point. I'm at 11th level now as a monk. I have the key points. Give me a reason to spend them.
You can be 10 feet away.
You can be 10 feet away. I feel like that's what the entire class is holding on to, though.
The way of being 10 feet away. I don't know. You'll be maxed up pretty. This is the point where you throw your quarterstaff in the garbage. So
sure,
this is where the class becomes what it is intended to be. It's just not very good. I don't know. I think it's
terrible. It's just
it's not
combat starts bonus action, 2 key points, and then you have all of this. You have your arms, you have the visage, you have the body stuff. And then, at your 11th, and so that's still 9 key points to play around with, to do flurry of blows and step the wind and
sure
stunning strikes, stuff like that.
You get your deflect energy, which again might come up, especially at higher levels. You're dealing with different damage types more than slashing, bludgeoning, piercing.
Right.
Sorry, bludgeoning, slashing, piercing. I wouldn't want to upset you. I don't remember which order it is.
You did it wrong.
I did it wrong still.
Alphabetical. Bludgeoning, piercing, slashing.
I don't want to upset you. Upsets, Kevin.
I think it would feel good to play this, just being able to reliably do that every turn. And here's all these cool stuff you get. Some of it's situational, but it can still come up.
I think I would like this more in a multi-class. I think that if we were at like 11th level in that, I'd be like, you know what? I'm not going for anything higher. We're going to cap the monk at 11 here and just try and get some interesting stuff from other abilities.
Like what?
I don't know, man. I'd have to run a show about multiclassing to talk about multiclassing on the fly like that.
I can comfortably say that a warlock would make anything better. So sure,
barbarian could be kind of neat, but the weapon attacks would need strength. Oh, that's right. Everything has to be. If that wisdom ability was again extended past the unarmed strikes and allowed to be for weapons, this would be like a sky blue S tier class for multiclassing.
Sword. I mean, it still needs to be monk weapons, though.
I know.
So it can't be heavy.
Right.
Can't be special.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Rogue.
The
wisdom casters. Cleric. Just get some casting.
Sure. Druid. I don't have a reason why. Just like druids.
Right.
Don't multiclass well, but druids. Druid monk's actually not bad. Druid monk's not bad.
I'm going to say, you could wild shape and still have all the Astral Self stuff. That'd be kind of neat.
That would be kind of neat.
But your wild shape is class dependent or level dependent, so.
Yeah.
Right. But
still.
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't even have to. I mean, I'm always going to jump to Spore Druid when it comes to a martial character. And that is just like the range king. If you are going into Spore Druid plus Astral Self, you get a lot from that. You'd be like a weirdly martial-based druid.
Yeah. It would take 2 turns, though, to get everything up and running. 1 to get the Astral Self and 1 to spore up, as we put it.
Which I think is
or just oddly good timing with your 10 minutes.
Right?
Yeah, but like, because when you do your Arms of the Astral Self, you're doing that AoE, I feel like you've got a lot of situations where first turn, you're not in the right position. And so you hold off anyways. So first turn, you spore up, you get that temp HP plus whatever other spore benefits. I think it's when your spores are up, you get like an extra D6 to your martial attacks.
Right.
Which these would count under as well. So you're getting your flurry of blows in there. It's, I think, going to take a little bit to get a class to that level that you're like, yes, this finally fits my image. But you might be able to get there with like 3 into no, because then your unarmed strikes would suck.
So the 1d6 necrotic damage is when you melee weapon attack, deals an extra 1d6. I always get so mixed up on this. It's like,
are your fists melee weapons? Are your astral fists melee weapons?
Yes. All right, I don't care. I don't care what the rules actually are. Yes, it's fine. You wanted to play a Spore Druid Astral Monk? Great. Yes, take the frickin' damage.
Right.
That is not rules as written. You can't smite with your fists. Whatever. Let's talk about the 17th level ability.
I feel like every time it comes up, we have to like remember all the rules. You can't smite with fists, but they are melee weapons. But it's like a melee weapon attack is smites. It's a mess. All right, 17th level, Awakened Astral Self. Your connection to your Astral Self is complete, allowing you to unleash its full potential. As a bonus action, you can spend 5 whole key points to summon the arms, visage, and body of your Astral Self and awaken it for 10 minutes. This awakening ends early if you're incapacitated or die. You gain these benefits: +2 bonus to your AC, and then Astral Barrage. Whenever you use the extra attack feature to attack twice, you can extend attack 3 times if all attacks are made with your arms, Astral Arms.
Which at that point, they would be.
They do that anyways.
Like a D12, I think, that goes up. So.
Right. I mean, so yeah, you'd be getting pretty reliably 5 attacks.
Apologies. It caps at D10 at 17th level.
Okay.
Oh, I know. I'm still bitter about it.
You're getting 5 attacks, you're saying?
Yeah, so 5 key points to Astral Self up at the beginning, which is kind of a lot, but you also have 17 per short rest, so
sure.
Bring it down to 12 to play with. To get +2 to AC, 3 attacks instead of 2, and then you can still flurry of blows to get 5, basically. So that's more attacks than a fighter. And that's like the fighter's whole thing. That's 20th level capstone.
Right.
Is a 4th attack. Though the fighters can do like 2-handed great weapons and stuff. So a little different. What else? Yeah, you get deflect energy. You get the empowered arms. You can do an extra martial die to it. You get the super dark vision and you can see in magical darkness. You get 10-foot reach. The arms do force damage and you can use wisdom. I mean, that's quite a bit. And it's all for a bonus action. Last 10 minutes. It's not like concentration or anything.
And realistically, we're talking about 22 AC.
Right. At this point.
Yeah, that's it. This point, yeah.
That's nothing to fuck with. But as I have learned when maxing AC, the DM always rolls just a little bit higher.
And you know what, Will? It's just against you. Because we're seeing in this campaign right now, we've got 3 characters with 20 AC. And if I have +7 to hit on a monster, I might as well throw that encounter in the garbage. It took me throwing a +13 Iron Golem at you guys to reliably hit. So you are cursed. No one else. So don't.
Yeah, and I'm the low AC guy now, and I'm just getting brutalized.
I think it's just a matter of. I think you just get beat up on. Doesn't matter your AC.
Crit on me 4 times in a row.
I love rolling in the open. Hiding your rolls is for cowards. Yeah, so 22 AC. It's the highest AC as a monk without magic items, and you can still get magic items. I know there's like bracers of defense, which don't mess with monk stuff, and that's +2 to AC.
Something like that, yeah.
And so you could, in theory, have 24 AC. Which is just absurd. I mean, that's That's a lot.
All right, and yeah, so martial is D10. So at this point, if you're, and then you, like your wisdom's 20, so you're doing let's just say the perfect all attacks hit. You do 3d10 plus 15, and then you flurry of blows, and both of those hit, and those are going to be unarmed as well. So an additional 2d10 plus 10, so we're at 5d10 plus 25.
Plus an extra d10 for your empowered arms.
Right.
So that's
6d10 plus 25.
And you're 10 feet away.
Yeah.
And you're 10 feet away.
Because fuck them, that's, yeah. It gets kind of nuts.
Any 20 level or 17th level character gets nuts. So
I mean, so a fighter's going to do 3 attacks. So let's say they got like
17th, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to get to 10 feet, they need a pole arm, so they would also be doing 3d10 plus 15. They could take Great Weapon Master, and then it would be 3d10 plus...
But they don't hit as often, so...
What, 45? That does get up there, but yeah, then they're going to start missing more.
Right, and that's the trade-off. So it's good, reliable damage.
Yes.
It is, mechanics-wise, the Miller Lite of D&D classes. Not flavor-wise. I think flavor-wise, there's some good stuff here. But it's just, I don't get anything out of this that's like, wow, and then I can do this cool thing. It's just like, I can attack more and do pretty consistent damage.
I don't know if I'd say like the Miller Lite of D&D mechanics. Like, unless you like Miller Lite, is that what you're saying?
Yingling Light? Sure, okay. No, I don't like Miller Lite. I love it. Sponsor us, Miller.
I think this gets really good. It falls into the same issue that you brought up with the Way of Mercy, though, where I could see it getting a little boring because it's just, you could just keep doing the same thing better. You don't have a bunch of versatility and options. It's like the decisions are kind of made for you. At the start of every fight, you're going to take your bonus action, spend your key points, get whatever astral stuff you could get up. There's like a little bit of a period between 6th and 11th where you may choose to not get the Visage.
Right.
But then 11th hits and you just get it anyways because you need the body.
Right.
And then you run in and you just punch things from 10 feet away and you feel good about it, and that's it. Like,
I think this is a class that really hoped it could do a lot, but then it just gets kind of shut down, in my opinion, from the I guess conventional class design that 5th edition goes for. If you had this class in, let's say, Pathfinder, which I know this isn't a Pathfinder podcast, I don't even know the rules of Pathfinder, but I know that the design concept is they're going to give you 16 different pathways that this astral self can take. And I feel like that's where it would have benefited, is if you had even just not 16, but like 1 or 2 choices. Let's go with the Artificer Armorer as an example, where if you go this branch, you can have your armor do this, and it acts in this way. And if you go this way, it does this differently. The fact that it's so monotone, using that word again, just kind of rubs me the wrong way. I don't know what's happened. I've become such a stickler in like all these classes. It's like, yeah, it's probably fun. It'd be fun to play, but I don't know. Give me more.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's just
it is
dull.
And I think with flavor, it'd be super fun. It gets a lot of flavor points where they didn't just rely on it's an edgy version of yourself.
They should have done that the way of the Shadow Realm.
Are there any interesting feats that might kind of change this class up? Because again, that 10-foot reach I feel like is really important. Sentinel is one that always comes up.
Do your fist count as pole arms?
Polearm master with it. No, that would not work, but that would be hilarious. But yeah, Sentinel, I mean, you're like locking down a huge area with 10 feet. That's the benefit of polearms plus Sentinel, is that you have this 10-foot range around you.
Right. Yeah, Sentinel is just when you hit a creature with an opportunity attack. It's not like melee attack or when you're within 5 feet and hit him with an opportunity attack. Nothing like that.
Right. And don't they spring opportunity attacks if they like move within your range instead of when they leave
a
it?
Creature within no. So
Sorry,
when you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, the creature speed becomes 0 for the rest of the turn. Creatures provoke opportunity attacks from you even if they take the disengage action before leaving your reach. And when a creature within 5 feet of you makes an attack against a target other than you, you can use your reaction to make a melee attack against the attacking creature.
Yeah, that sounds like stuff that I really want with this class.
Right.
I think I was mixing
the
up
last
Polar
one probably
Master.
won't come up, but Polar Master is you get an opportunity attack when it enters your reach.
Yes.
And that's where it gets really annoying, where you then pair it with Sentinel, because then you just stop them from 10 feet away.
Right. There you go. You're saying that last one would not come up much?
Because you have to be within 5 feet. When a creature within 5 feet of you attacks another creature.
I mean, nothing's stopping you from being within 5 feet. You just also can attack
Right.
within 5 feet.
Right.
So I would actually say that will come up, probably. As long as you position yourself in that way. It doesn't specifically synergize with the additional 5-foot reach, though.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Sentinel.
definitely one feat I'd want out of here.
Right.
Do you need every single ability score increase? Just trying to look at, like, if you're starting at 16 and 16 on Dex and Wisdom, you get...
At 4th, you get Wisdom to 18, and then at 8th, you get it to 20. 12th, you get Dex to 18. 16, you get Wisdom to 20.
Okay.
It's not quite.
You get
but
one
you
that you can play around with.
Right. Or you just go Variant Human.
Or you go Variant Human. Yes.
Or not. You don't even need to do that anymore, because it's in Tasha's. You just Variant whatever. They have the new one where you can just,
Right.
take a feat instead of any other abilities.
The cheater start.
So, yeah, I agree with you that I think this could get dull because it is the exact same play style from beginning to end, and you're not really making a whole bunch of choices and all that. It's just about who to attack and specifically where to stand. But, I mean, you could still grapple. You could still shove. Things like that. But your positioning matters, when to do stunning strikes. And then, I mean, it is also still a role-playing game. It's not like we're just arena combat after arena combat with nothing else going on. So
Right. Yeah,
but
definitely.
They don't have a ton of stuff outside of combat to do.
No.
But that's just kind of like a martial problem as is, really.
A martial problem.
They get a little bit with the Visage.
A pretty big monk problem. I mean, monks get, like, the tongue of the sun and moon, where they can just speak any language, basically. They can run up walls. Little stuff like that. It's nothing huge, though.
Yeah. But yeah, mechanically, I think it's solid. It keeps the monk. I haven't run the numbers, but I think it definitely keeps the monk probably in line with other martials.
Yep, you are correct. I will also say that this does make the best grappler for a monk, by far. Being able to replace your wisdom with strength makes grappling actually a possibility with monk, whereas usually it feels really awkward.
Right.
So you brought up a great point there. So maybe take the grappler feat.
No, I still
don't do that. Don't do that. All right. I guess I have to say something about one of our affiliates, don't I? That's what you're expecting of me. It's what you want from me. It's all these people want from me. They want to hear about Bardly. They want to hear about integrating music into their D&D games seamlessly and getting 50% off a 3-month subscription using the code MNM50. That's what they want. So you got to give it to the people. And make sure to go to monstersmulticlass.com/support, where you can support us and find all of our links to do so. And that's it.
Yeah. Comment, like, subscribe.
That's going to be your job to
YouTube
say.
Gods, I think the YouTube gods come down and punch us in the face if we don't end the video with that.
Yeah.
Ring the bell. I'm sorry. Don't hit me.
YouTube standing there with its butterfly mask. You didn't say ring the bell, Kevin.
All right. Cool. Thanks for watching.